Let me guess. You've been carrying this secret for years. The secret that you like feet. Maybe you've rehearsed 1,000 conversations in your head. How you would finally tell her, how she'd understand, how it would bring you closer. And then you said nothing. Or worse, you said it wrong. At the wrong time, from the wrong place, and it blew up. Or maybe you never even got to the conversation because you already decided it was pointless, that she's not going to get it, that she'd think you were weird, that it was just easier to keep hiding. So instead, you kept scrolling, you kept watching, you kept fantasizing about a version of your life where you didn't have to choose between being yourself and being loved. Now, if any of that sounds familiar, stay with me because today I'm going to show you exactly why those conversations fail and what it actually looks and sounds like when they go right. And at the same time, I feel like I must say this, apparently. You can take or leave what I'm talking about here. If any of the contents of this video do not resonate with you or don't apply to your situation, feel free to just leave it and move on. Obviously, not everybody's dealing with this issue, but those who do will benefit from opening up to this information that I'm sharing here. So again, if you don't agree with me, that's totally fine. I'm not going to take it personally. You can take it or leave it. If you guys are hearing sounds in my home, it's because it's very windy and apparently I forgot some doors open and now they're just violently getting shut by the draft. Okay, now before we get into the actual content, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Rux and this channel exists for one reason. Because I believe food lovers deserve real support, real conversations, and a community that doesn't treat them like they're broken. If that matters to you, do me a favor and hit subscribe. And if you believe the food lover community deserves to be less stigmatized, you can support the show directly on Patreon with a small donation. In the description, you're also going to find a free resource I built specifically for where you are right now. It's called the King Shame Exit Kit. And it's your first real step towards letting go of the shame that's been running the show. Grab it and use it diligently because it costs you literally nothing and it is very, very helpful. And if you already know you're ready for something deeper, there's also a full 14 days structure to rebuild your identity and confidence from the inside out. You can join the waitlist for the 14-day self-command reset, also at the link below. All right, now that I said that, let's get into it. I've talked to a lot of food lovers. And one of the things that comes up again and again, it's this issue. I'm afraid to tell her. I don't think she's going to get it. I don't know how to just tell her. I'm afraid she's going to reject me if I tell her. So there's that. But the issue there is more than fear. It's actually a mix of things. There's shame, which is this quiet, persistent belief that something is wrong with you for wanting what you want. That somehow you're too much or too weird or too specific. Then there's the loneliness aspect, the experience of going through years of relationships, dates, situationships where no one ever really gets to know you, where you're always performing a version of yourself that you think is acceptable. And it's exhausting because you, the full you, is not really there, just a part of you, while the other, the full you, also wants to be seen and feel loved. And then there's the unconscious self-sabotage, because you bring it up at the worst possible moment, for example, or you drop hints instead of having a direct conversation, or you frame it in a way that makes her feel like she's being used for her feet instead of being chosen as a full person. And then it goes sideways and you wonder why. And then there's the aftermath, the awkwardness, the rejection, or sometimes something even worse than that. Her just tolerating it, which means she's going along with it, but without actually enjoying it, without being into it. It's like she's doing it only for you, which creates this fake intimacy that leaves you feeling more alone than before. So here's what I want you to understand, and I want you to really let this land. And I know you've heard me say this before, almost in every video. The problem is almost never the fetish itself. Because you see, women are not bothered by foot fetishes as much as you think. If you think about it, it's one of the most common fetishes in the world. It's not that bizarre, guys. It's not dangerous. In the right context, with the right framing, a lot of women find it actually flattering because it means you find something about them beautiful. But you see, the problem is how you're showing up when you bring it up. The energy underneath the words and the story you're telling yourself before you even open your mouth. So, that's what we're going to fix today. Well, most food lovers who struggle to have this conversation are operating from what I call the victim mindset. Now, listen, before you get defensive, I'm not trying to insult you. It is a pattern that I have seen over and over again. The victim mindset is a way of thinking that gets installed early, usually through shame or rejection, and then it quietly runs the show. It quietly runs from the background every single interaction you have. The victim mindset sounds something like this. She's going to think I'm a freak. If I tell her, she will leave me. No woman is ever going to accept this part of me. The only way to get what I want is to hide it until she's already attached to me. I just have to find someone who's into it, but until then, I'll keep it to myself. Women just don't get it. I just have to accept I will never show this part of myself to anyone. So, here's the problem with that. When you approach a woman from this place, she's going to feel it, even if you don't even say a word about the fetish. Even if the conversation is about something completely different. It's kind of like when you get close to something electrically charged and the tiny hairs of your skin start to lift before you even touch it. Yeah, you know that static that affects you. You just feel it. That's what that energy feels like. She feels the desperation, the over-explaining, the way you're already apologizing before you've even started. On the other end, she feels that you are hiding something. She's going to feel that wall you placed, that invisible distance between the real you and the version of you that shows up. And it makes her feel like she doesn't really know you. She doesn't really know who she's with. So here's another truth. Once you accept it, it will change everything. How you reveal your desires to a woman tells her everything about how you see yourself. If you reveal it with shame, you're essentially asking her to accept something you haven't even accepted. You're putting that weight on her. And you know what? That's not fair. And she's going to feel it. If you reveal it with pressure, you're communicating that getting what you want matters more than her comfort. That is a transaction. And women, obviously, will reject that. If you reveal it through secrecy and manipulation, like testing her reactions, dropping little hints, trying to engineer her into it before she knows what's happening, she'll feel the lack of honesty, even if she can't name it. And it will erode trust in a way that's very hard to rebuild. So none of those work. And see, that's not even a fetish issue. It's the foundation you're building on. So let me give you a window into something that's going to shift maybe your perspective, like what she's actually thinking. When a woman hears about a man's fetish, and any fetish really, her first instinct is usually not disgust. Her first instinct is to read you. And I really mean instincts, meaning this thought process happens automatically, sometimes in a split of a second. She's reading your energy. She's asking these questions. Is he comfortable with this? Is he ashamed? Does he seem like this is going to become weird, or is this just a part of who he is? She's, in other words, looking for cues from your body language and energy before she forms her own opinion. which means if you walk in calm, grounded as this is who I am, she's far more likely to receive it that way. Put yourself in her shoes. If someone tells you something personal about themselves where they're clearly ashamed of it, you will feel the discomfort. It leaks. But if someone shares with ease, like it's something normal, like it's a normal part of themselves, you tend to receive it that way too, like it's normal. So her reaction, in a large part, is a reflection of yours. And guys, that's good news, because it means you have far more influence over how this conversation goes than you've been giving yourself credit for. All right? The barrier is not her. The barrier is the story you're telling yourself before you speak. And that's something you can learn to adjust. Quick pause. If what I'm sharing is helpful, this is exactly the work we go deeper on inside the 14-day self-command reset. And it's not theory. It doesn't really have any kind of theory. It's just a structured day-by-day program built to rewire the shame, to rebuild your identity, and help you show up differently. Even in conversations like this one, and in every other area of your life. Join the waitlist at the link below, and you'll be the first to know when I open it up again. And if you haven't grabbed the King Shame Exit Kit yet, that's your starting point. It's completely free, it's practical, it's built for exactly where you are. And the results people are getting with it honestly surpassed even my expectations. Grab it at the link below and work with it. Okay, now going back to where we left. My allergies are getting out of hand. Okay, so let's talk about what does it actually look like when a confident, self-aware food lover has this conversation. All right, let's break it down in a practical way. Well, first, you must understand that timing is everything. So what I mean by that is, don't bring this up in a very intimate or highly charged physical moment. That's a context where it feels like a negotiation and taking advantage of the nature of the moment to get this from her. She's going to feel it and she's not gonna like it. Don't do it. Also, don't bring it up in the first week of your relationship when there's no trust yet, no foundation, and you just start to know each other. Dropping something like this early before she actually knows you tends to land more as oversharing rather than honesty. I also must say, don't bring it up when you're drunk or high or when she's stressed or in the middle of a conflict. It's not going to go well. Instead of doing that, bring it up in a calm, connected moment, like a relaxed evening after you've both been real about something, and a real conversation, not small talk. This is not the time for small talk. The moment when there's already warmth and ease between you and when you both feel open to each other. And trust me, you can feel when that moment comes. The context you create around this conversation tells her this. This is safe. This isn't a big deal. This is just two people being honest. Then second, lead with connection. Do not make it a confession, all right? And this is the single biggest mistake I see in food lovers. Because men treat this like a big confession, like they've done something wrong and now they have to admit it and beg for absolution. You really must understand that that framing is broken before you even open your mouth. Because if you think this is a problem, you also make it look like that to her. Like this is a problem. And then she has to decide how to deal with it. Is she going to judge you? Will she try to save you? Will she become your emotional crutch? Your therapist? You don't want to put that load on her. So instead, share it as a part of who you are, with the same ease you'd share a preference, a passion, a hobby, or something that you find genuinely beautiful. Share it as this is a part that is integrated into who you are, which means you are not in conflict with this part of you. So, here is an example of what this actually sounds like. It sounds like this. Hey, can I be honest with you? I'd love to share something about myself with you. It's really not a big deal, but because I feel close to you, I'd like you to know me better. I have a real thing for feet, and I just find them genuinely beautiful and sensual. It's just one part of how I experience attraction. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to make it weird or a whole thing. I just didn't want to keep that from you. That's it. How does that sound? Well, it sounds like you own it. You're not hesitating or saying it halfway, being shy or embarrassed to admit it. And there's warmth in that because you framed it around closeness, trust, and openness, not as a demand, not as a transaction, not as a need that you must have fulfilled, not like pressure, all right? It sounds normal. Your tone is calm, you are grounded, it's integrated, which allows her to mimic and reflect your energy, and therefore to be calm about it too. And lastly, there's no apology because you really haven't done anything wrong. So if you're serious about integrating this part, don't just watch this video as another brain rot content, guys. Just go back and practice with me the energy of talking normally about this. You can even write it down, all right? Practice in the mirror. And I want you to say it so many times and to repeat it until you don't feel nervous saying those words. And only then, when you are feeling like you can normally say it out loud, share it with her, okay? You got this. Then, third, don't apologize before she can even process that information you just shared. After you share it, please resist the urge to immediately say things like, I know it's weird, or obviously you don't have to be into it, or I completely understand if this is a deal breaker. Listen, I know and I get it why you do it, all right? You're trying to protect yourself, to save face, but you're trying to control the outcome before it even happens. And what that communicates is this. I'm already crumbling. I'm ashamed of this. This is a part of me that I think is dangerous to share. I'm already expecting rejection. I feel less than because of this. Please make this okay for me. That puts her in a position of managing your emotion and closes down the space for a real response because she's not your therapist, okay? So share it and stay steady. Let there be a breath of silence, okay? That's not awkwardness. You just allow her to process the information. Allow her the space to actually have a genuine reaction. And then fourth, match the conversation to where you are in the relationship. And there's a difference between telling a woman you've been dating for 2 months versus telling a partner that you've been with for 3 years or more. For someone new, keep it lighter like I just exemplified before. You don't need to lead with the full depth of it, right? Introduce it as part of a broader conversation about desire and attraction and like something you want to share with her. Make it feel like one interesting thing about you, not the defining thing about you or the only thing about you. Now, for a long-term partner you've been hiding it from, well, this requires a little more care. There's likely going to be some hurt there once she realizes you've been keeping something from her. So acknowledge that. I should have told you sooner. I was scared of how you would react. And I'm really sorry that I didn't trust you with this earlier, but I'm willing to change that. And I hope that we can work this out. That honesty will land much better than pretending it was never a secret. Okay? Now, what if she doesn't get it? Okay? Yeah, that can happen too. What if she pulls back? What if she gets quiet or says something like, well, that's kind of weird? Well, this is the moment. It can totally happen, okay? And most men blow it in one of two directions. They either collapse totally, they start apologizing, they take it back, they say things like, oh, I don't even know why I brought it up, which confirms to her that this was, in fact, something to be alarmed about. Or they overcorrect the other way. They get defensive, they start overly explaining why fetishes are normal, or maybe even judge her for having a genuine reaction. You shouldn't do either of that. Listen, if she's uncertain or uncomfortable, the most attractive and effective thing you can do is to stay grounded. Not defensive, not crumbling, just steady. Something like this. I get it. That's fair. It's probably not something you expected to hear. Listen, I'm not asking you to feel any particular way about it. I just wanted to let you know. Take whatever time you need with it, and if at any time you have any questions about it, I'm here to talk about it openly. And then just let it sit. Don't chase the conversation into the ground. Don't send a follow-up text that same night explaining it further. No, let her come back to it on her own terms. That kind of steadiness tells her, this is a man who's not going to fall apart if I need time. He's not desperate. He's just being honest, and I respect that. Women find that much more attractive than any perfect set of words you could have prepared, okay? Now, what if, indeed, after all of that, it's still a genuine deal breaker? What if she's simply not okay with it and that doesn't change? Well, then you've learned something absolutely critical. And the answer is not to shrink yourself to fit, okay? The answer is not to bury it again and pretend this conversation never happened. If this is a deal breaker for her, ask yourself, is this a deal breaker for me? And if it is, then the answer is to move on. Keep moving towards a partner who can genuinely meet all of you. Because you cannot build real lasting intimacy and connection on the parts of yourself you've kept hidden. Every relationship built on half-truths will eventually feel hollow, and you will know exactly why. But remember, you have to believe that this person who can love you for the whole of you actually exists. If you quietly don't think that can be true, reality is just going to reflect your belief. And you're never going to find a woman that's going to meet you where you are. Now, I want to say something, but I really want you to sit with it. The real reason why most food lovers can't have this conversation, the real reason why this shame persists, the hiding continues, the loneliness deepens, it's not about right or wrong things or words. And it's not about not having the magical technique. It's not about a technique, actually. And it's also not about finding the right woman. It's because somewhere along the way, you simply absorbed that belief that your desires make you less than, that they disqualify you, that the version of you that wants this is somehow a lesser version, one that you have to keep contained, edited, managed, hidden from the people that matter. And so you split yourself in two. So the real issue is much deeper and at an individual level, at a personal level. There's the you that people see, the presentable version, and then there's the real you living mostly in private and mostly alone with this. And that split is not just exhausting, it's honestly self-destructive too. It is the source of everything else. The shame spiral, the compulsive scrolling, the relationships that never quite feel real, the nagging sense that nobody actually knows you, the loneliness, the addictions, the hopelessness, the self sabotage, the sadness, the deep depression, the self loathing. I've seen many food lovers who struggle with all of that. And I'm being real with you now. I want you to know that whoever you are, how you are born, however you're wired in your brain, however you look, and whatever attributes make you you, are not wrong. You are deserving of love simply because you exist. Honestly, it's any human's birthright. However, that human is. The belief that your desire makes you unworthy of love is the real enemy. It's not your fetish. Women are drawn to men who know themselves, who aren't performing, who aren't hiding behind a carefully edited version of themselves, who can hold their own presence and say calmly, without drama, without apology, "This is who I am." That kind of self-possession is rare. That kind of authenticity is absolutely magnetic. Not, "Please accept this weird part of me," no, but "I'm someone worth knowing fully and I'm not afraid to let you see me." All right, that is the foundation. And everything else, the timing, the words, the conversation, the techniques, those are downstream, and honestly, they aren't something that you should obsess over. These details will come naturally when the core of who you are is steady, grounded, and wrapped in an energy of self-love. All right? Okay. Now, before you go, here's what I want you to do right now. Leave a like on this video and subscribe. The more people who engage with it, the more food lovers who are still carrying this alone get a chance to find it. Also, if you believe this community deserves to be taken seriously, to have less stigma, more real guidance, and a genuine space to grow, support the show on Patreon. The link is in the description. Your first real step. Grab the Kink Shame Exit Kit. It's literally free. It's very practical. I built it exactly for the moment you're in right now. And if you're ready for real structure and real transformation, join the waitlist for the 14-day self-command reset. 14 days of structure built to fundamentally change how you see yourself, how you show up, and how you move. All the links are below. And I'll also leave you with one question to carry into your day. Do I actually accept this part of myself? Really ask yourself that and be honest, okay? Don't try to perform acceptance or self-acceptance. Don't tell yourself, "Oh, I'm fine," while underneath you cringe, okay? Because that's how the loop continues. So really think about, do you believe your desire is a normal, valid human thing? Do you believe you are someone worth knowing fully? Because that's the work you really have to do. Work on that. And listen, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I see you. And just know that you're already ahead of the problem. And honestly, you're ahead of a lot of people. I know this work is not easy, guys. So drop the word grounded in the comments below so I know you stayed till the end. And so I also know that this kind of content is actually helping. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.